He went to his mother, the goddess Ninsen, and asked her to interpret the dream. I saw a bright star. It shot across the morning sky. It fell at my feet and lay before me like a huge boulder. I tried to lift it, but it was too heavy. I tried to move it, but it would not budge. A crowd of people gathered around me. The people of Yorick pressed in to see it. Like a little baby, they kissed its feet. This boulder, this star had fallen to earth. I took it in my arms. I embraced it and caressed it the way a man caresses his wife. Then I took it and laid it before you. You told me it was my double, my second self. The mother of Gilgamesh, Lady Ninsen, the wise, the all-knowing, said to her son, "Dearest child, this bright star from heaven, this huge boulder that you could not lift, it stands for a dear friend, a mighty hero. You will take him in your arms, embrace him, and caress him the way a man caresses his wife. He will be your double, your second self, a man who is loyal, who will stand at your side through the greatest dangers. Soon you will meet him, the companion of your heart. Your dream has said so." Gilgamesh said, "May the dream come true. May the true friend appear, the true companion, who through every danger will stand at my side." When Shamat had finished speaking, Enkidu turned to her, and again they made love. Then Shamat gave Enkidu one of her robes, and he put it on. Taking his hand, she led him like a child to some shepherds' huts. Marveling, the shepherds crowded around him. "What an enormous man," they whispered. "How much like Gilgamesh he is, tall and strong with muscles like rock." They led him to their table. They put bread and beer in front of him. Enkidu sat and stared. He had never seen human food. He didn't know what to do. Then Shamat said, "Go ahead, Enkidu. Eat this food. We humans eat and drink this." Wearily, he tasted the bread. Then he ate a piece. He ate a whole loaf. Then he ate another. He ate until he was full, drank 7 pitchers of beer. His heart grew light, his face glowed, and he sang out with joy. He had his hair cut. He washed, he rubbed sweet oil into his skin, and became fully human. Shining, he looked handsome as a bridegroom. When the shepherds lay down, Enkidu went out with his sword and spear. He chased off lions and wolves. All night he guarded the flocks. He stayed awake and guarded them while the shepherds slept. One day, while he was making love, he looked up and saw a young man pass by. "Shamat," he said, "bring that man here. I want to talk to him. Where is he going?" She called out, then went to the man and said, "Where are you going in such a rush?" The man said to Enkidu, "I'm on my way to a wedding banquet. I have piled the table high with exquisite food for the ceremony. The priest will bless the young couple. The guests will rejoice, the bridegroom will step aside, and the virgin will wait in the marriage bed for Gilgamesh, king of great walled Yorick. It is he who mates first with the lawful wife. After he has done, the bridegroom follows. This is the order that the gods have decreed. From the moment the king's birth cord was cut, every girl's hymen has belonged to him." As he listened, Enkidu's face went pale with anger. "I will go to Yorick now, to the palace of Gilgamesh, the mighty king. I will challenge him. I will shout to his face, 'I am the mightiest. I am the man who can make the world tremble. I am supreme.'" Together they went to Great Walled Yorick, Enkidu in front, Shamat behind him. When he walked into the main street of Yorick, the people gathered around him marveling. The crowds kept pressing together to see him. Like a little baby, they kissed his feet. "What an enormous man," they whispered. "How much like Gilgamesh. Not quite so tall, but stronger boned. In the wilderness, he grew up eating grass with gazelles. He was nursed on the milk of antelope and deer. Gilgamesh truly has met his match. This wild man can rival the mightiest of kings." The wedding ritual had taken place. The musicians were playing their drums and lyres. The guests were eating, singing, and laughing. The bride was ready for Gilgamesh. As though for a god, she was waiting in her bed to open to him in honor of Ishtar, to forget her husband, and to open to the king. When Gilgamesh reached the marriage house, Enkidu was there. He stood like a boulder, blocking the door. Gilgamesh, raging, stepped up and seized him. Huge arms gripped huge arms. Foreheads crashed like wild bulls. The two men staggered. They pitched against the houses. The doorposts trembled. The outer walls shook. They careened through the streets. They grappled each other, limbs intertwined, each huge body straining to break free from the other's embrace. Finally, Gilgamesh threw the wild man, and with his right knee pinned him to the ground. His anger left him. He turned away. The contest was over. Enkidu said, "Gilgamesh, you are unique among humans. Your mother, the goddess Ninsin, made you stronger and braver than any mortal, and rightly has Enlil granted you the kingship, since you are destined to rule over men." They embraced and kissed. They held hands like brothers. They walked side by side. They became true friends. Time passed quickly. Gilgamesh said, "Now we must travel to the cedar forest where the fierce monster Humbaba lives. We must kill him and drive out evil from the world." Enkidu sighed. His eyes filled with tears. Gilgamesh said, "Why are you sighing? Why, dear friend, do your eyes fill with tears?" Enkidu answered, "Dear friend, a scream sticks in my throat. My arms are limp. I knew that country when I roamed the hills with the antelope and deer. The forest is endless. It spreads far and wide for 1,000 miles. What man would dare to penetrate its depths?" Gilgamesh said, "Listen, dear friend, even if the forest goes on forever, I have to enter it, climb its slopes, cut down a cedar that is tall enough to make a whirlwind as it falls to earth." Enkidu said, "But how can any man dare to enter the cedar forest? It is sacred to Enlil. Hasn't he declared its entrance forbidden? Hasn't he put Humbaba there to terrify men? We must not go on this journey. We must not fight this creature. His breath spews fire, his voice booms like thunder, his jaws are death. He can hear all sounds in the forest, even the faintest rustling among the leaves. He will hear us 100 miles away. No among men or gods could defeat him. Humbaba is the forest guardian. Enlil put him there to terrify men. Whoever enters will be struck down by fear." Gilgamesh answered, "Why, dear friend, do you speak like a coward? What you just said is unworthy of you. It grieves my heart. We are not gods. We cannot ascend to heaven. No, we are mortal men. Only the gods live forever. Our days are few in number, and whatever we achieve is a puff of wind. Why be afraid, then, since sooner or later death must come? Where is the courage you have always had? If I die in the forest on this great adventure, won't you be ashamed when people say, 'Gilgamesh met a hero's death battling the monster Humbaba'? And where was Enkidu? He was safe at home. You were raised in the mountains with your own hands. You killed marauding lions and wolves. You are brave. Your heart has been tested in combat. But whether you come along or not, I will cut down the tree. I will kill Humbaba. I will make a lasting name for myself. I will stamp my fame on man's minds forever." Gilgamesh bolted the 7 gates of Great Walled Orc, and the people gathered. Crowds of them poured out into the streets. Gilgamesh sat on his throne. The crowds pressed in to hear him. Gilgamesh spoke. "Hear me, elders of Great Walled Orc. I must travel now to the cedar forest where the fierce monster Humbaba lives. I will conquer him in the cedar forest. I will cut down the tree. I will kill Humbaba. The whole world will know how mighty I am. I will make a lasting name for myself. I will stamp my fame on men's minds forever." Then Gilgamesh turned to the young men and spoke. "Hear me, young men of Great Walled Orc, warriors and comrades who have fought at my side. I will journey to meet the monster Humbaba. I will walk a road that no man has traveled. I will face a combat that no man has known. Give me your blessings before I leave, so that I may come back from the cedar forest victorious and see your faces again. Once again may I celebrate the new year with you in the streets of Great Walled Orc, to the sound of lyres and drums." Enkidu stood up. There was tears in his eyes. "Elders of Yorick, persuade the king not to go to the cedar forest, not to fight the fierce monster Humbaba, whose roar booms forth like a thunderclap, whose breath spews fire, whose jaws are death's, who can hear all sounds in the forest, even the faintest rustling among the leaves. Who among men or gods could defeat him? Humbaba is the forest guardian. Enlil put him there to terrify men."